Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. And where we're at is we were playing Wasp against Expert Rhino. So it's the pre-constructed Wasp deck. Handled Rhino, just standard Rhino, pretty well. Thought we'd take it up a notch to Expert Rhino. And we got defeated by Expert Rhino last time. So we're going to go do another go again. Try and take on Expert Rhino and see if we can do better this time with Wasp. So it's Super Bowl Sunday. I've got my Chiefs shirt on because I'm in Kansas City. So trying to get this game out of the way before, the big game is on. So anyway, let's get to it. Also, I want to get through some Wasp plays. So I can get to Quicksilver because he just arrived and I'm excited about playing Quicksilver. Just these hero decks are coming out so fast right now. We had that big lull at the beginning of the year because of like transportation and the COVID stuff, and I think they're getting everything back to flowing. So it's going to be a release like every month now. Hopefully they have it nice and scheduled. All right, we'll see how things go. So right now we've got Rhino on the board. We've got our break-in out there. Rhino's got his 15 starting hit points like he should when he starts at level 2. Got our break-in and taken out of there, and we've got Nadia Van Dyne out there. I think we're ready to go. So remember, he schemes out at 7, and I start with 11 hit points, and I have a hand size of 6. So we're going to grab our first 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and see what we come up with here. Now, we are using the pre-constructed deck, so nothing fancy yet, just everything right out of the box. All right, what are we looking at for cool cards here? We have the Power in All of Us, which is actually kind of nice because I got this Spider-Man out here. So Spider-Man costs 3 and I can pay 2 for that 3. One of the things I keep getting fooled by with this deck is the Wasp's cards look like almost like aggression cards. So this is an aggression card. These aren't aggression cards. Arr. And I have the power of aggression. So what are we looking at here? We could bring Spider-Man out with our Lion Weight and the Power in All of Us, use a couple of cards to play a Wasp Sting, and a Wasp Sting does 4 damage divided amongst enemies as I choose, or if I'm tiny form, I can deal 5 damage to an enemy, which is kind of nice. The big thing is I need to get that breaking and taken out of there, which I can do with Spider-Man when I bring him into play because Spider-Man's kind of cool. He gets a +2. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, choose thwart or attack. Spider-Man gets +2 to the chosen power until the end of the phase. So I can get a little boost to my thwart and take out that breaking and taken, which would be excellent. All right, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep what we have here and go this route. Now, let's do it this way. We're going to be a little bit tricky here. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to play Spider-Man. And we're going to double our resources for a basic card, which is Spider-Man. And we're going to use 1 from the Wasp Sting to pay for Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to come into play, and I get +2. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, choose thwart or attack. Spider-Man gets +2 to the chosen power until the end of the phase. I am going to choose thwart. And then I'm going to have Spider-Man go ahead and thwart for 3, and we're going to take out the breaking and taken. Man, that worked well. I'm happy with that. All right, and I'm going to take 1 consequential damage from doing that. All right, next up, I'm going to trigger Nadia Van Dyne's Girl action, which says I can shuffle up to 2 cards with a printed mental resource from your discard pile into your deck. All right, so what that's going to allow me to do is look for a mental resource, which is my Wasp Sting, and I can shuffle that one back into my deck, because we might want a Wasp Sting later. All right, now what we're going to do I'm reading a card over here. I'm looking at my Wasp cards. I'm trying to figure out which form I want to go into. So I go small after Wasp defeats A minion or side scheme will deal 1 damage to the villain. That doesn't do me a whole lot of good, but I do 1 extra damage in Little Wasp form. If I go Big Wasp, I have a lot of defense. I think I'm going to go Big Wasp. So we're going to change form to Big Wasp. All right, so if you remember correctly, what Big Wasp has the ability to do is a threat and damage from your basic thwart and your basic attack can be divided up amongst enemies. Right, not a huge thing now, but because there's nothing else on the board, but it could be a thing in the future. All right, so we're going to use these 2 cards to do a Wasp Sting, which is going to do 4 damage. And then we're going to go ahead and attack as Wasp and do 2 more damage. So we're doing a total of 6 damage. So let's see here. We're going to make that a 5 because he's at 15. So we're going to take him down to 9. And I'm exhausted. That's the end of my turn. So we're going to take our exhaust markers back and we're going to go back up to 5 cards, hand size 5. So we have Giant Help, Rapid Growth, Surprise Attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's see what we've got here. So we've got a Giant Help, which lets me remove threat from a scheme. All right, not super helpful right now. We've got Rapid Growth, which is when you use one of your basic hero powers, change to your giant hero form and get +2 to that power. So that's looking for a big beatdown right there. We've got a Surprise Attack, which is an event. After you change form, deal 3 damage to an enemy. 4 if I use a physical resource. That could be good. Pinpoint Strike. 7 damage to an enemy if I'm tiny. Deals 1 additional damage and gains overkill. And then I've got Ant-Man. Ant-Man's pretty cool. So when you are in giant hero form, +1 attack. When tiny hero form, +1 thwart. He's not a bad dude to get out there either. Oh, I'm going to have some decent choices this next round. Well, depending upon how things go. All right, so let's see here. Villain's turn. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. All right, next up, Rhino is going to see the Wasp out there. And I think we're just going to take this attack. We are just going to take this attack. All right, so he's attacking for 3. He's going to get a boost of none. All right, that's a good number to get. None. So we're going to take 3. Oop, that's a 4. We're going to take 3. All right, next up is our encounter card. Our encounter card is Charge. Ooh, he's going to be looking to do a lot of damage next round. So just remember here, so when Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill. Eek, and he's going to get +3 attack. So, ouch. He's looking to do a lot of damage there. That's a lot of damage. All right. What are we going to go after here? So he's done. Let's back over to our turn. All right. So what would be really cool would be if I could do a pinpoint strike and a surprise attack, but that's not going to happen. So what I can do, let's see here, getting Ant-Man out would be pretty powerful because Ant-Man would deal 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could flip Rhino this round. And then he would get stun and toughness. It would stun me and he would get toughness, which would be fairly annoying. The other thing I've got out here is I can do 7, potentially 8 damage with my pinpoint strike. I think Ant-Man, get a persistent thing out there. I think getting Ant-Man out there is going to be the best choice at this point. So we're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to bring Ant-Man out. Let's get those allies out there. All right, we're going to have Ant-Man go ahead and attack. So when he's attacking, he's going to do 2. He's going to get +1 because I'm in giant hero form. So he's going to do 3. So we're going to knock And we'll go ahead and have Spider-Man attack also. So we're going to knock him down 5 total. Is that right? 3, 4, 5. Yep. All right. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and have Wasp attack for 2. So he's down to 2. All right. Now the question is, what form do I go into after that? Because he's going to have that big charge coming at me. Do I take a round as Nadia Van Dyne and hope that he doesn't scheme out with an advance? I think that's the way we're going to go, because we're going to prep for that charge, and I think we may end up taking that charge head on. All right. So we're going to flip over to Nadia Van Dyne, and then we're going to use her girl power and see if there's anything with a mental resource we want to put in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this giant help and put it in there, because I'm going to need some thwarting help. And then I think we'll put that we'll put the pinpoint strike in there. I can't put the rapid growth in there. Let's put the pinpoint strike. That's 7 damage. Yeah, we'll put that in there. Let's put that. We'll put these in there. We're going to shuffle them back in. And then we're going to be done. All right. Now, with that big overkill charge, normally I would be looking at potentially putting Spider-Man in front of Rhino coming at me, because he's only got 1 hit point left. But with that big charge on there, that's not going to do me a whole lot of good. So I need to be prepared to take that one on the chin. And he can hit me for, if he draws a 3 boost, we're looking at potentially 9 damage coming across there. So that could be fairly painful. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, so we're done. We're going to draw back up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So we've got a pinpoint strike for 7 damage. We've got Thor, would be another fun card to get out there when she comes into play. If I use a physical resource, she's going to do 2. If I use a physical, she's going to do 3. So lots of fun there. We got a Wasp sting back. We have our giant help back. Surprise attack. We've got a Into the Fray, which does deal 6 damage to a minion for each excess damage dealt from the attack. Remove 1 threat from the main scheme. That could be useful. We'll see. We will find out. All right. Villains. Oh, we need to remove our tokens. Now we go to the villain's turn. All right, villain's turn. We put 1 threat on the main scheme. So it's going to go up to 2. We've got Rhino. He's going to see Nadia Van Dyne out there, so he's going to scheme. So he's going to get boost card. He's got a scheme of 1. He's going to boost 1, so we're going to get 2. We're up to 4. It's getting into kind of iffy territory there. All right, we're going to draw our encounter card. Encounter card is tough. All right, he's going to get tough status. Well, okay. Annoying, but not horrible. All right, end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. So hero-wise, do I want to put any mental stuff back into... Ooh, so I've got some interesting things that can go on here. All right. I can bring Thor into play. When I bring her into play, she's going to do 2 damage, which I can use to take out Rhino's tough. I think, or I could use Ant-Man to ping it off of there. I don't have anything that gives me piercing. The other thing is, if I bring Thor into play, I could potentially put a couple of these cards back into my hand. The other thing that's concerning is the break-in out there has 4 threat on it. So I think that's one of the things I'm thinking about right now is it would be good to rest because I'm going to take a big hit on the chin. I could use my giant help to clear the thwart off there. That's more of a long, we're playing the long game kind of at that point. If I do that, then I could pull off a wasp sting potentially. Let's see here. If I did a wasp sting, ooh, okay, that gets rid of the thwart. I could attack. No, I think I need to rest first. So we're going to recover to get this 3 back because we're going to probably take a big hit from the tough here. Or sorry, not from the tough, from the charge. All right. So after I do that, I can. Do I want to shuffle 2 mental cards back in now, or do I want to wait and do it after I play something? So if I play Thor, I could play Thor and hold on to a card. Which card would I hold on to? Maybe the giant help? Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and play Thor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put Thor into play. We are going to use a physical resource. So we're going to do 2 damage, well, 3 damage to the villain, but he's got tough. So the tough is going to pop off of there. All right, so no more tough on Rhino. All right. Next up, we're going to use our girl ability to put 2 mental resource cards back in. And I think we're going to put a wasp sting and pinpoint strike back in there. All right. We're holding on to our giant help because I'm a bit afraid of the threat that could come out of this. Okay, so we've rested. We've brought Thor into play. I think we're going to go large size at this point in time. So let's get big. So we're going to switch to big form. Boom. All right. Now that we're in big form, we're going to attack with Ant-Man. So he's going to do 2. He's going to do 3 damage, which is going to be enough to flip Rhino. Oop, is that how we want to do that? Yeah, it's not going to matter in the end. We'll go ahead and do it that way. All right, so we're going to flip Rhino. Rhino 3 is going to come out, and he's going to have 16 hit points. 10, 5, 1. Then we're going to need a tough, and a stun card on there. All right. So he's going to get tough. And I'm going to get stunned. All right. So the next up, I think we're going to go ahead and have Thor attack also. And get rid of that tough status card. All right. Then we're going to be done for the round at that point. Not sure if I'm setting myself up well there. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got Wasp. Wasp is pretty cool. Plus, I got an energy at the same time that I got Wasp. So, Wasp right there, +1 hit point for each pim counter. I can spend up to 3. So she could be doing a lot of damage. But we'll see how things go because it's a little bit iffy right now. Let's see what happens here. All right. First thing, villain's turn, we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. All right, he's up to 5. Rhino's going to see Wasp out there, and he's charging. So he's attacking. Oop, I forgot to remove my counters. So he's attacking for 7 right now. I think Wasp, because he's got overkill, Wasp is just going to take this one, and I'm going to block on this one. All right, so we're looking at 7 damage. I'm blocking for 3. He's going to get a boost card. Whoa! He's going to boost for 1. All right, so we are looking at 8. I block for 3. That means I take 5. Ouch. But charge goes away. All right. Next up, we're going to draw a counter card. Counter card is Assault. The villain's going to attack me. All right, so he's going to come at me again. This time, I'm going to have Spider-Man block this one. So Spider-Man's going to step in front of this one because I don't want to take 4 plus, yeah, lots of damage there. So Spider-Man's looking at taking 4, plus there's a boost card that's going to come out. I'm going to take 1 more. He's going to take 5. That's going to take Miles Morales off the scene. All right. But we're done with the villain's turn. We're back to the hero's turn. Now, unfortunately, Wasp is stunned and exhausted at this point. But we do have Ant-Man out there, and we do have Thor out there, and we can bring Wasp into play. All right, let's see here. So this says Giant Help, which is probably what I should do. It says remove 3 threat from a scheme, 4 threat among schemes instead of I'm in giant form. So we're going to go ahead and play that puppy because that's going to do 2 for our Giant Help. And then we can get rid of 4 on the main scheme. That makes me feel a lot better. All right. Next thing we can do is we can use our Power of Aggression as 2 energy, plus our Lie in Wait as a 3rd energy. And we can bring Wasp into play with 3 counters on her. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, things I'm looking at right now is, unfortunately, I could attack with Ant-Man. We would do 2, 5, 8, which would take him halfway down, but I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to hold on to Ant-Man. So we're going to attack with Thor, and we'll attack with Wasp. So we're going to do 2 with Thor, and we'll do 3 with Wasp for a total of 5. Going to take him down to 11. And then Wasp is already exhausted because she blocked. So we will be done for this turn. All right, so we're going to unexhaust. All right, now we need 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm getting all my persistent cards that stick out there. So I've got my upgrade, an upgrade, an upgrade, and a couple of events. All right, what's happening on the villain side? Because we're done with our side. I could have changed form, but I think I want to stay Wasp right now. We're okay. We're just doing some defending right now. All right, villain's turn. We can put 1 threat on the main scheme. All right, Rhino sees Wasp out there. And right now, he's attacking for 4. I think we're going to go ahead and do the defense thing again. So we're going to defend. We've got a defense of 3. So he's attacking for 4. He's going to get a boost card. So he's coming at me for just 4. All right, I block for 3. That means I take 1. All right, next up, encounter card. Let's see what happens encounter card wise. We get Shadows of the Past. When revealed, reveal your set aside Nemesis minion and put into play engaged with you. Reveal your set aside Nemesis side scheme and put it into play. Shuffle the rest of your set aside Nemesis encounter deck into the encounter deck. If your Nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, this card gains Surge. Okay. So unfortunately, I was feeling okay about how things were going, but now I get to go get the Nemesis cards. All right, so we're going to have Beetle's going to come into play. Oh, she's got Guard. All right, force interrupt when Beetle is defeated. Choose to either spend a physical resource or shuffle Beetle into the encounter deck. All right, so Beetle's coming into play, and her side scheme is coming into play, which is Mother's Orders. As additional cost to each hero, to make a basic attack, you must spend 1 of any resource. All right, and that's coming into play with 2 on it. All right. Annoying things going on there. Okay, so we need to figure out what we're going to do because that didn't work out very well. Now the beetle's out there with guard. We can take care of the beetle potentially with, if we get boot camp out there, then my heroes are going to attack for more, which would be good. All right, now I've just really been defending, so I think maybe that's the way to go, is I can have Wasp take out the beetle. Or the other thing that we could do, I'm wondering if maybe I should go for a round where I revert back to Nadia Van Dyne. Take kind of a little bit of a rest going on there. So I could put out, I think boot camp is what I want to get out there, because I think having my allies have the additional attack is going to be very important. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to use our into the fray and our giant help. What do we want to hold on to? Let's hold on to our giant help. So we're going to spend our red room, our into the fray, and our Wasp's helmet to bring boot camp into play. All right. Then we're going to attack with the Wasp here. She's gonna end up at 2, but she's attacking for 3, and she gets +1 from the boot camp now, because that gives +1 attack to each ally. So she's attacking for 4, and she can take out the beetle. All right, beetle says, when beetle is defeated, choose to either spend a physical resource or shuffle beetle into the encounter deck. We're gonna shuffle beetle into the encounter deck. The hope is that we don't see her, because there's a lot of cards there. So we're gonna shuffle her in there and hope that that does not become a problem. All right, now I think we're going to have 4 attack Rhino, because she can do some damage. Should get that damage out of there. The other option, yeah. We're kind of on the edge of when Rhino schemes. Not sure if I should have, maybe I should have Thor thwart 1 off of the main scheme just in case, because 1's going to go on there, it's going to bring it up to 2. If I pull a 3, he could potentially go out. So I could pull a 3 boost, right? And then we would get 4 +1 from going on there. Yeah, I think the safest thing to do is have Thor thwart for 1. Or, no, hold on here. Let's think about this. Maybe I go ahead and use up Ant-Man. Could have Ant-Man thwart for 2, which would clear up. Yeah, I think we're going to... Ooh, that's a tough call. Yes, I'm going to have Ant-Man thwart for 2, which is going to use him up because he's going to take a consequential damage. Trying to figure out whether to keep him around, or I think the safest thing is to have him thwart for 2. Then we'll have Thor attack. Thor attacks for 3, so we're going to knock Rhino down to 8. All right, we're going to shift ourselves back to Nadia Van Dyne. We're going to look for a couple, we're going to use our girl power. Do we have anything that's interesting mental resource wise? Yeah, let's throw that Wasp sting back in there. I'm going to shuffle that in. And then we're going to be done. And we're going to get rid of our giant help. All right, the giant help's going to go away. We're going to unexhaust. We're going to draw up to 6 cards. We're right on the edge here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Villain's turn. What's going to happen on the villain's turn? So first thing is we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Second thing is Rhino's going to see Nadia out there, so he's going to scheme. He's got a scheme of 1. He's going to boost for 2. So he's going to scheme for 3. Going to give him a total of 4. All right, next up we're going to draw our encounter card. Encounter card is Caught Off Guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. Oh, so my boot camp is going to go away. Okay. Could have been worse. You can go with that. All right, so Rhino is done. We're over to our hero turn. So what are we looking at? We've got 3, 4, 5 damage there. If we can bring out 5 more or 3 more damage, we should have him. All right, the thing to remember is with Mother's orders here, additional cost for each hero to make a basic attack, the hero must spend 1 of any resource. So I'm going to have to figure that into my scheme also. I have a boot camp I could bring out, which would get me to 4, 7 damage. Well, that's not going to be how I'm going to get there. Okay. Let's think about this. How are we going to do this? So I've got a stun on me also, which is annoying, but I think I can take care of that, right? Let's see here. Is that any attack or is that a basic attack? Additional cost for each hero to make a basic attack. Okay, so that's only if I do my basic attack. All right, so how do we handle this? Let's go. I think we're going to shift into giant wasp form yet again. Yep, so we go to giant wasp form. All right, when we go to giant wasp form, we can do a surprise attack. So we're going to actually use the power in all of us to pay for our surprise attack, which says after you change form, deal 3 damage to an enemy, but it's an attack. So we're doing an attack. So our stun is going to stop our attack. So we pay for it, but we don't get to do it. All right. Next up, we've got Thor. Can go ahead and we're going to use her up to attack for 2. So we're going to exhaust Thor. She's going to do 2 damage. And she's going to take a consequential, which will take her out. All right. Then we're going to attack with the Wasp. The Wasp is going to do 3 damage. So we're going to take that. We're going to knock it down to a 2. Got 3 left. And then the Wasp is going to go out because that's going to be her 3rd consequential damage. All right, so now I need to come up with 3 damage, which I can do by doing a boot camp and a rapid growth to do a Wasp sting, which says giant hero form, deal 4 damage divided amongst enemies as I choose. We will do 4 damage to Rhino. All right, there we go. Wasp took out Rhino with the pre-constructed deck. So that's pretty impressive because usually you want to be creating your deck in order to take on expert mode, but Wasp's got the stuff to do it in her pre-constructed deck. It was a little bit touch and go there, and I even got the Nemesis minion out and was able to handle things. So Yeah, Wasp is pretty good. I'm feeling Wasp has got some nice stuff going on there. Now that's against Rhino, and this Wasp is an aggression deck, so that's part of that. I think with this deck, she's meant to do damage, and that kind of plays into Rhino's thing there and being able to take him out. I would say in this game, there was a very well played giant help came in at just the right time and helped things work out there. I got Wasp at a very convenient time. Also, she came into play just at the right time. So there's a couple of cards I didn't hit an advance in there, thank God, because there's a couple of times where advance would have broken me pretty badly. But all in all, yeah, pretty happy with that play. So there we go. That's a Wasp win against Expert Rhino. So I'm gonna have to figure out. So first off, if I missed anything, let me know. I think that was fairly clean. I don't think I have anything that I question out of that. I find myself not using Tiny Wasp form after Wasp or an event you play defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. I just now I'm playing Rhino, I guess, so there's not a whole lot. There hasn't been a whole lot of things coming out, so maybe that would change it if it was a board that had more things going on. And maybe if you were playing multiplayer and you were targeting things that other players were getting out there, that might make her smaller form better. But really, I found Big Wasp with the better thwart attack and defense, that 3 defense. I'm finding myself sitting back with Wasp and taking a lot of damage while I'm trying to get my allies out there to do stuff. Don't know if that's other people's experience too, but that's the way she seems to be playing, at least against Rhino. So it will be interesting to take her up against other villains and see how they play. And that's going to be the big decision right now is, do I take Wasp up against other villains, or I just got Quicksilver? Do I do some Quicksilver play? So I'll have to ruminate on that one a little bit and, figure out what's next on the agenda. So again, if I missed anything, let me know. Other tips about Wasp play would be welcome. And I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching.